advantage of the opportunity. But right now is about right now.
The Plan B, Ohio State Buckeyes!
Give everything you got in your heart to this place.
Hello and welcome back to Rushing the Field, presented by Xfinity. He's Joshua Perry. I'm Nicole Auerbach. And 5 unbeaten teams go down in Week 8. It started Friday night with Miami, but it was crazy. We are seeing a lot of parity in the sport this year.
We are, and it makes me wonder, like, when was the last time we saw a year that felt so chaotic?
Every time people say that, the answer is 2007.
It's what it feels like, right? Yeah. It's insane. I've been loving it. Also very hard to predict what's going to happen, so it makes us all feel a little foolish, too.
We got to revisit our preseason predictions a little bit earlier. One of our Coach of the Year picks, yours, has been fired.
And yours, your national champion.
It was Clemson.
And their coach should be fired right now, too.
No,
but he won 2 championships, so they won't do that.
Yeah.
But his resume is the same as James Franklin's right now.
They lost again to SMU earlier today. All right, let's start with Miami.
All right.
Because I know it happened Friday night, but to me, it's still the headline from the weekend, especially because they were the number 2 team in the country. I had been voting them number 1. 4 interceptions by Carson Beck.
Yes.
I mean, we have been saying all year, what version of Carson Beck are we going to have? Are we going to have the interception prone one from last year or 2 years ago when he was one of the most consistent quarterbacks in the country at Georgia? We got an answer against LSU.
Yeah.
Louisville.
Yes. No, to me, it was always a question of, like, is he going to stay consistent? Is he going to have one of these games? And projecting forward, like, I don't know how often he's going to go out and throw 4 picks, but it certainly makes you very cautious to believe in them. I think the other part of this game that stood out to me is Miami didn't run the ball particularly well. And one of the reasons why I believed in them as a team that could really win a national title is the trench play.
Yep.
Offensive line,
Both
defensive
sides,
line.
yep.
And it just wasn't there. So this was like the anti-Miami game, and we expected there would probably be one. We didn't know exactly when or what it would look like. But it raises the questions about this team in the big picture and, like, do we trust them to go out there and perform in a championship way to where they can actually win it?
Yeah, and the ACC, again, the teams like Clemson really falling off. It's going to be an interesting race now because I think we've been penciling Miami in, thinking they would go unbeaten in the regular season. But now they have not. That one is going to be a result that will have CFP implications as well with seeding as we move forward. Also, shout out to Jeff Brom and Louisville. This was one of our preseason predictions that was actually right. We said we could see him being the ACC Coach of the Year because Jeff Brom does this. They get these top 5 wins when they're not supposed to.
It's a really weird thing. We watched him do it when he was at Purdue, right? Like, he would go out there and he would get those types of wins. And there is a formula for him where his quarterback has to be playing well. And Miller Moss played a good game. But his defense has always been aggressive, and he needs the breaks to go his way. Because there are some games where those 4 interceptions are 4 touchdown passes that go over his defense's head. So always intriguing to see it happen for Jeff Brom, but he is known to do this.
Yep. So the ACC race got a little bit more interesting with that result. Georgia Tech also beat Duke.
Yes.
So they are still unbeaten in ACC play. Let's go to the SEC. We're down to 1 unbeaten team in this conference, and it's Texas A&M. Really surprising. I don't think people would have had that on their bingo cards at the start of the year. Part of that is because some of the results that happened on Saturday. Let's start with Vanderbilt's win over LSU. This is the second loss of the year for the Tigers. I think we can finally kind of start to take them out of SEC contention, and their CFP chances are a little bit on life support. But Vanderbilt didn't rush the field. Like, this is Vanderbilt believing that they are supposed to beat teams like LSU. And Diego Pavia struck the pose. He did a Heisman. He had some Johnny Manziel throwbacks. But listen, he deserved it. The way he played on the ground, through the air, and LSU, this is just a tough one. I mean, we're going to start having the Brian Kelly conversation.
No, that's an interesting one. I'll circle back to that. I've been hating on Diego Pavia because I feel like he is just always doing the most. He runs his mouth a lot. Like, very confident guy. He strikes the pose. Like, it is kind of anti what I like to see as a player. But the one thing that I do appreciate is that he believes he's a winner and they celebrate winning. And those things are important. And I love what you said about them not rushing the field. It's kind of like maybe we need to get more used to seeing places like Vanderbilt or Indiana having success. But, like, their fan bases are acting like it's business as usual, which I love. LSU's in a weird spot.
Very weird spot.
High expectations. Quarterback play has been great. He's been a little bit banged up. Okay. It's been the offense. Then today it was the defense that wasn't as good. And I
Which
thought,
was supposed to be a lot better.
Well, Blake Baker fixed everything is what I was told.
Well, the way that Brian Kelly was talking about it in the summer was saying that he believed they had a national championship caliber defense.
Absolutely.
And that's not what we saw.
It's not what we saw. And frankly, I think there have been signs. But not to get too far into that, how do you reconcile what this team looks like today versus the expectation, and what does that mean for the head coach is what everybody's trying to figure out.
Yep, we will hit on that more in the midweek pod. Let's talk about Ole Miss. They picked up their first loss of the year to Georgia. This game was wild yet predictable because Georgia is an entirely different team in the first half of games and in the second half of team. Second half, Georgia is a national title contender.
Yes, they are.
First half, Georgia is a
bad.
head scratcher. Really bad, really bad, really bad. And so this game felt very similar to the Georgia-Tennessee game. It goes back and forth, back and forth. Gunnar Stockton, couple really big plays late to get Georgia back in it. And ultimately, somehow, the Bulldogs won this game.
I'm in this place with Gunnar Stockton where every week I'm like, I just don't think he's that guy.
Yeah.
Right? But then it's like, it makes gritty play after gritty play and like never goes away and it's really scrappy. And it's like, maybe I should give him more credit. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm with you on the head scratcher. But the other part of this that was predictable was not only Georgia being good in the second half, it was Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss folding.
Yeah.
Because they've done this in big moments. They just haven't found the ways to close out the big games when we're supposed to take them seriously as a contender.
And the schedule is usually pretty favorable for them, right?
Yeah.
And they come out and they're playing well. The offense is just like gashing the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia, I don't understand what changes defensively in the first half to the second half either.
I don't know. I think Kirby probably goes in there and says some very unsavory things in a prideful.
But it's the same players.
I know.
It's the same schemes. Like they're not like making these massive adjustments.
I'm trying to explain it. It doesn't make any sense. It's one of the more inexplicable things. Let me throw this out here. Georgia had over 500 yards offense.
Yeah.
It's a real problem. And we're in that part of the season where names are being bandied about for jobs that are open currently or may come open. And I couldn't look at a guy whose defense fails him every time. It's like the Lincoln Riley thing to a certain degree. That has to get much better for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. Well, it's been a problem for years. I mean,
yes.
He's an offensive-minded guy. The question is now, what defenses in the SEC do we trust? We trust Oklahoma's.
Yes, we do.
We trust Texas,
yes.
I think. Although a little bit bend and don't break.
Yeah, but I still think I trust them. Generally, I trust Florida's defense.
Yep.
I don't think that's been a problem.
Oh, A&M, of course.
Well, but not after today.
Yeah, I guess they gave a lot of points.
Yeah.
So, this is a league that used to be, these games were like 9-3.
You would be scared of their defenses. Like,
right.
People feared having to play an SEC defense, and now I think coaches are like, I'm going to dial up my best stuff.
Is it a little bit like, these are like Big 12 scores, which the Big 12 used to get mocked for defense optional.
45-42, like that definitely feels like Big 12. So, yeah, it's an interesting thing to see. And, like, I think some of these offenses are really good, but again, I think it's more the defenses aren't great.
It's hard to tell in that conference and still hard to figure out the pecking order. Speaking of the Big 12, another big shakeup. Texas Tech, a team that we have talked about, the trenches, line play both ways, as a team that most of the games they're going to play, they're just going to like physically impose their will. And then the hope was when you're in a tough game against the best of the best in the Big 12, then you step up. And they tried. They came back. They had like a flurry of points late in the game to get back into it, get a late lead. And then they give up that lead. And Arizona State, Big 12 champs last year, playoff participant last year, they end up winning this game. It was a great field storm. But that was a wild finish. And does that cause questions about what we think about Texas Tech?
A little bit. This one was unanticipated for me because of all the reasons that you said. And Texas Tech hadn't really played in close games this year.
No.
And there was a moment where maybe they would have a step back or a letdown or whatever the case is. I didn't think it would be against Arizona State because of how up and down they've been. Like, their bottom to me this year, Arizona State, has not been very good at all. And their peak to me was not Texas Tech good. So this felt like a weird spot for that to happen. But here we are. I think there's a question about Tech in who they are moving forward. There's also this question about what the hell happens in that conference at the end of the year when it comes to how many teams they could possibly get in.
Right, and now just like all the tiebreakers and all that stuff comes into play. Because again, that was another team we were thinking, okay, they're head and shoulders above everybody else in the Big 12. Not the case.
Nope.
Not the case at all. So there is a lot more to come, I think, on that race than the ACC race. But we'll put a pin in that for right now. All right, another Friday result that was really interesting was Nebraska losing to Minnesota. Another field storm. We have to shout them out because the name of the pod is Rushing the Field. This felt like a little bit of, oh, hey, our coach has been tied to the Penn State opening and had to answer questions about it all week kind of game.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know a lot of people would be like, oh, man, was like Matt Rhule distracted and what was their prep like? But like as a player, that doesn't matter to me. Like, they're going to ask questions about my coach. They ask me the same question. Like, all I know is I got to go out there and I got to make tackles. And that's what they didn't do. I think when you start to look at the makeup of either one of these teams, Nebraska has not been great against the run this year.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, all they want to do is run the football. And that's just kind of the way that it played out. Like, I think it was just a bad matchup for the Cornhuskers.
And Nebraska was a team. I might have to retire from making predictions.
Yes, predictions are bad.
In my midseason bracket, I put Nebraska in there because of the path.
When did that bracket come out?
It was Thursday.
Yeah. And
but it proved me wrong immediately, yes. And I also had Miami in the title game.
It's so cooked
against Ohio State. I feel better about Ohio State.
That could happen, though. Miami still could do that.
I agree. The one team that did make me feel good and confident in them was Ohio State,
sure.
though. That team, they're going to be the number one team in the country, probably unanimously now.
I mean, but there's also still this idea of, like, anybody can lose. It doesn't feel like they're going to, but, like, anybody can lose.
I know, but the question was, like, can they be explosive offensively? And we'll get to that in a second. Now they can. They certainly can. Okay, so Texas A&M, the last unbeaten in the SEC. Are you confident in them? Do you think they could win the SEC?
I got to look at their remaining schedule. It feels like, yes, like being unbeaten to this point is important.
They have the win over Notre Dame. Like, we've seen them tested.
We had similar conversations about them at a similar point last year.
That is usually the case with Texas A&M.
That's going to be the question there is, like, what do they do to end the season? Because if they want to be like last year, then we can have all these conversations. It's not going to happen. So I like them. I like Reed. He's a bit of a roller coaster at times, but he's super explosive. We talk about the wide receivers. They're a heavily penalized team. And what I saw from their defense today is a huge question. Mobile quarterback got the best of them.
And a Bobby Petrino offensive mind.
Right.
Yeah,
but, like, when you can be creative, you can use the quarterback and you can establish the run, and now you have the pass available. Like, it's dangerous playing with fire a little bit.
Yeah. I still like Mike Elko. I think I trust him to guide this team more than I did with, like, Jimbo Fisher and some of those other teams.
So LSU, Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, Texas. So LSU, you and I both believe are frauds.
Yep.
Missouri is going to be an interesting matchup for them.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina, they should beat.
Yep.
Obviously, Samford. And then they play Texas, which rivalry game, you never know. But I think they're better than Texas
I do too. Yeah. All right, so maybe they're going to go to the SEC championship game. But the playoff, definitely, they're in the mix there. They are a top contender. Indiana is going to be Windiana. Well, because we don't put a limit. It used to be 9-win Indiana.
No.
9-win Indiana.
It's infinity Windiana.
That was like the pipe dream that someday Indiana could win 9 games in one season, and now they're going to be the number 2 team in the country. They already at number 3 are the highest ranking they have ever been. And then when the poll comes out on Sunday, they will be number 2.
It's been a lot of fun to watch. Like, I think that you and I have been effusive in our praise of that program. And a lot of people have come around, and the Signetti thing has been a lot of fun. I saw an interesting reaction from a portion of the internet that was like, Indiana made a big mistake giving him that much money. And I don't think you can make that mistake when you've never really won anything as a program. Like, you have a guy who is a winner. Back-to-back years, he's proving that this is a thing he can do. So not a mistake from that standpoint. And, oh, by the way, like, I actually do think they're legit. Like, this isn't just,
I do too.
It's not fun story. Like, give that man anything he wants.
And I feel like people who did not think that learned it with the Oregon win because of the talent that is on the field.
That has always been the thing, is people look at the recruiting rankings and
they're just convinced that they're never going to close that gap against the best teams. This year, they're doing that. And they're so consistent and so prepared in the front seven, everything we saw against Oregon, that's going to factor in down the stretch. I will say, too, to that point, he might be your guy.
Mm-hmm.
If this is the only person who has ever done this at Indiana, and you let him leave because you're not willing to pay like the top coaches in the country get paid, and then you're never good again, you regret that forever.
Yeah.
And this is someone who's willing to stay, by the way, because he believes that the resources and the commitment from the school allow him to contend for the playoff and the Big Ten and the national championship. So yes, you pay. They're doing what a football school would do.
We've talked about it. That's a perfect way of putting it. Is like they're acting like a serious athletic department that cares about football. And to underscore the point about resources, I have to bring this up every time we talk about it. When they extended Cignetti last year, part of the reason why that was so important is because of the money they gave him to go out and hire and retain his staff. He's got a phenomenal staff.
Yes, he does.
Those guys are really good. He's able to pay his defensive coordinator $2.2 million a year because they've made the investment into the program. That's what big-time programs are doing. So if they only ever win 11 games, if they only ever make it to the playoffs and go out in the first round, that's still worth it for Indiana.
We've been saying this, but, this idea, just like wait a few more years or see if there's more. They can go 5-7. Indiana fans are fine.
They'd be all right.
That used to be a good year for them. They're still going to build the statue. It's a Mount Rushmore, and it's a 1. They're going to be fine.
Amazing.
They're going to be number 2 in the country, which is wild. I think they're going to go undefeated in the regular season.
I agree.
I really think they are. But we do need to talk about, in part, what we've seen from Penn State making a change with James Franklin, Indiana going all in with Cignetti, puts a lot of pressure on Wisconsin now, back-to-back shutouts. They lost to Ohio State this weekend, but this is the first time they've had back-to-back shutout losses since 1997. Sorry, 1977. Okay, sorry, that was way worse.
Yeah.
There's going to be a decision that has to get made for Luke Fickell. They've lost their last 5 games by an average of 25 points, have dropped their last 10 games against Power 4 conference teams.
The numbers are damning. Like it feels like there's no light at the end of the tunnel for this year specifically. The schedule is brutal. It's going to continue to be brutal. Like they're 2 wins is the number, and it's unfortunate. I love Luke Fickell, but something just has not worked out there. And whether that's part of its injuries and your quarterback being banged up and that whole thing,
wrong offensive coordinator,
whether
hired.
it was a bad hire to start and you just haven't been able to get back to a place where you feel steady, whether it's a former AD who likes to get on podcasts and talk about everything that's going on there and what he would do differently. It doesn't seem like this is an experiment that's going to work out.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to track because it's a $25 million buyout. That is a lot of money at Wisconsin. But again, you just saw other schools making a decision in your own conference for double that.
It's a tough spot.
It's going to force their hand.
It is.
And you also have an athletic director who went out on a limb to go hire Luke Fickell, go outside of the tree, the Barry Alvarez, Paul Chris tree. So that makes it a little bit more.
Barry's reminding him every step of the way.
He is. But it's making it a little more challenging probably to make decisions about that as well.
Yeah.
They've got Oregon next, by the way.
Brutal. I mean, like part of this is literally like you are playing teams. You played Alabama in the non-con.
I know. It was the schedule was brutal.
So bad.
But a 2-win season is also
it's
inexcusable.
Unacceptable there. Yeah.
Time for helmet stickers. I'll let you go first, Joshua.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep it with my Ohio State Buckeyes. We talked about how they're rolling right now. Big reason why Julian Sayin. Every time people start to ask the question, well, I don't know how explosive they are, they just come out and they become really explosive. He was 36 for 42, 393 yards, 4 touchdowns, looked really good. He's starting to extend plays outside of the pocket with his eyes downfield. He had a couple beautiful passes doing that today. And an honorable mention to one Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
Because we talk about Jeremiah Smith, throw it up to 4. Carnell Tate is going to make a lot of money when he is drafted in the first round of next year's draft.
He is terrific. He's had some of the best catches of the year. My helmet sticker goes to Diego Pavia. I know you think he talks too much.
He does.
And he is a little showboaty.
He is.
But he backs it up.
Mostly. Yes.
He has been such a difference maker for Vanderbilt, and he has instilled them so much confidence to the point where, again, they did not rush the field after beating the number 10 team in the country because now they expect that and they think it's possible. You look at their remaining schedule, we're going to have a conversation with our loved ones about a potential college football playoff Vanderbilt team.
Yeah, imagine Vanderbilt in the playoffs, Indiana in the playoffs, and like some of the teams that are going to get left out. People are going to lose their minds. I'm with you on the idea of Pavia talking from the standpoint of Kurt Cignetti had to do that.
You have to change the mindset of your people.
But I think it's changed so he can.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm here for it, though. Like, if that's what gets your guys going, get them going.
3 for 160 yards and a score. Ran for 86 yards and 2 more touchdowns in that win over LSU.
His running ability is a difference maker.
Maybe he'll be in the Heisman race, too.
He could be.
He could be. He might be.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay, it is the time of Saturday night where we talk about games that are in progress and hope that these takes hold up when you're listening to this on a Sunday morning. Joshua, there's a lot of games that are really close right now, so we're going to save them, like Mizzou, Auburn, and the BYU-Utah game. So if something crazy happens, we'll hit it in the midweek show. Let's talk about our game, USC Notre Dame. The first half was the stars came out. I mean, we saw like the really good of Jaden Maiava. We saw Notre Dame's running backs run all over the field. What are we learning about these teams tonight?
Well, I think we're learning a couple of things. Jaden Maiava came out, looked really good, like very efficient first drive, and then Notre Dame started to get a little pressure, and it was less efficient. And you look at the other quarterback and CJ Carr, who was playing as well as anybody.
And then
he's a little rattled and less efficient. He has a nasty interception.
That was, I think, his low point of the season so far, right before the half.
It was egregious. So I think we're starting to understand that these are still younger, developing quarterbacks who can be rattled a little bit. The run game for Notre Dame is the backbone of their team, and it's been phenomenal. There's a flip side where USC will just like not even be close to the running backs at all and have these nasty plays. And it really bothers me because the field got short and they gave up all of a yard on 2 runs and then forced that egregious interception.
So they have it in them.
Yes, you'll see. They'll give up an explosive.
Right.
And then the next run will be a TFL. They'll give up an explosive and the next run will be a no gain. They can do it. They're more talented on defense than they've been in the past. It's just not consistent yet.
All right, so again, this could change. We're recording this with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter, but I also want to give you this stat. Mekhi Lemon, 2 catches for 28 total yards.
The Notre Dame staff made a concerted effort to say that Lemon was not going to make them sour.
Have you been thinking about that all day?
I haven't. That was on the spot.
Okay, well, it was pretty good. It was pretty good, but someone else put this way. I can't remember who said it, but feels like he is more valuable than any other individual receiver to any other team.
That's an interesting take. I'm struggling with that. I think Jacoby Lane being banged up for the stretches that he was probably makes that more true. I think that they have good weapons otherwise, but he has become a focal point, though. So to your point,
he's completely taken over games.
Yeah, and he's not taking this one over, and USC's offense certainly looks a little bit smaller tonight.
If Notre Dame hangs on to win here with such an explosive offense, are we starting to feel better about Chris Ash and the defense? No?
I still think that there are moments where, like, some of the throws were too easy early, right? And
then the weather factors in a little bit as well for the pass game.
And I think there's also this idea that they have to blitz to get pressure. Like all of I'm not going to say all because I can't verify that, but it looked like a lot of the times they were able to get to Maiava, they had to bring an extra rusher or 2 to make that happen. And I think the elite teams are comfortable rushing with 4 and getting pressure on the quarterback.
Which we've also seen from Notre Dame teams past.
Yes, that's what they've done in the past.
All right, let me get some thoughts from Alabama-Tennessee, 3rd Saturday in October, one of the great rivalries as well in college football. As we're recording, Alabama leads 23-13 halfway through the third quarter. It has been a lot of Alabama. It has been a lot of Ty Simpson. They had the pick 6 right before halftime as well that kind of swung this one. So Alabama appears to be in control right now.
Yes, and it's interesting because looking at the stats as they stand, Tennessee has more total yards than Alabama. But you mentioned you get down all the way down the field and then throw an interception. It was kind of like what happened with Duke, where I was looking all day long and I'm like, they have so many yards but not enough points. And it's like, yeah, you get to the 1 yard line and turn it over. That's what happens. This Alabama team, to me, they might be in the championship game. Like, I don't know if they'll win it, but like I think they have enough to make a run. And I still don't love them on the lines of scrimmage, but like I think that they have enough to make a run.
again, halfway through the third quarter, they have 26 total rushing.
I know. I hate saying it, right? Like, it's bad. It's not
and
good.
And Jam Miller's there. Like, he's healthy.
I know, it doesn't.
I know. It's so inconsistent with them.
Yeah.
But Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza, they seem to be the Heisman front runners for a reason. Ty Simpson's really good, and he's
so good.
That's part of the reason that they're on this run.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're going to be there at the end of the year, in my opinion, too.
All right, we'll see if they hang on with this win or if we lift them on Sunday. And it's Rushing the Field presented by Xfinity. We'll see you in the middle of the week.